Welcome to episode 11, The Lost Lore with Arturo Lamas, the third. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Who is the CEO and founder of Lost Lore Tequila. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How about yourself? How you guys doing?
Doing well. So just to kind of dive into things, tell us about Lost Lore, the brand.
Yeah, absolutely. So a project that we started some years ago. So now it's going on to 4 years at this point. But I guess I'll start with the whole story and how I got into agave spirits before Lost Lore. So my great grandfather, he used to distill agave spirits in the 1920s in Zacatecas, Mexico, in a really small town named Tequila. Right now, there's probably less than 1,000 people that live there. But he distilled mezcal. It was a tradition that was passed on to my grandfather and then to my father. And then my father, in the 1970s, he moved to the U.S. for the American dream. He was a migrant farm worker. He worked in California. He worked in Florida. He picked oranges in Florida. And then when the orange season was done, he moved up to Illinois and he picked produce for a big Dutch family around here. And, it was something that my dad had to do. It was an opportunity for him. But growing up, I would always hear him talk about agave spirits and distilling. He talked to his father about it. He talked to his brothers and sisters. So it was something that really intrigued me when I was a kid because I wanted to be like my dad, and I still want to be like my dad. So I knew at some point in my life I wanted to get into agave spirits and distilling. So time went on. Went to school. Got out of school and I went into some different industries. I went into the furniture manufacturing industry and into the beer industry. But I always had that itch to get into distilling. So going on to almost 4 years now, I went to my dad and I told him that I wanted to start a tequila brand, agave spirits brand, and I wanted him to be part of it. And I was hoping that he'd say yes, but he told me no. The reason my dad told me
Yes.
because he's a little older now, and he doesn't want to start a business at age 70. But I was persistent, and I would ask over and over and over again. And it finally came to the point where he said that he would do it under the condition that we would make a high quality agave spirit, very similar in profile to what he used to make when he was a kid in the 1970s. So we went down to Mexico and we started the search for a distillery to partner with, and we partnered with the Vivanco family.
That is a very, very father thing. Hey dad, I got this lifelong dream. I want to share it with you. Now I'm watching the game. Get off my porch. What are you talking about?
Yeah, my dad's a pretty reserved dude, and he's a
Mine too.
safe guy, and nice to kind of bring him out of his comfort zone to help me out with this whole project.
That's good though.
So how did you come up with the name Lost Lore?
Yeah, so lore is tradition, so lost tradition. So it was a tradition that was passed down from my great grandfather to my grandfather to my father, and then it kind of got lost along the way. So that's kind of where the name came from. So we're really happy with it. We had a different name when we started. So the name of our company was Forsaken Tequila. So kind of like on the same realm, it's just it was a name that was taken, so we had to go a different route, and I'm happy we did. I really like Lost Lore. It's very easy to remember, and it has meaning behind it too.
One of the questions I was talking to Matt about when we were talking about you coming on here, talk to me about how difficult and how the process was. How accepted were you, and how was the industry for an American coming down to Mexico and starting something off like that without the big celebrity name to back you and all those things? What was it like starting it off down there?
Sure, I think that it definitely had its challenges. When you start a brand, everything starts with the trademark. So, we went down to Mexico and then we filed our paperwork. And you got to wait for a name to kind of go through. So, like I said, the first one was a name that was taken, so we had to wait for the second one. So, just kind of like the hardships of kind of the waiting game. That's what was difficult. And then you have all these distilleries that you admire. And before I started this, I was an agave head. I really enjoyed tequila, so I had a list of distilleries that I wanted to talk to and I wanted to possibly work with. So you go in there, and of course I'm just some regular dude, right? They don't see me as a George Clooney, or they don't see me as this big celebrity. So of course they're going to give more attention to the celebrity, but I think the core being into agave spirits and appreciating and respecting agave spirits really showed, and that kind of changed things. Once we had these conversations, these distilleries, of course, they want to work. They're business, right? So if a celebrity comes in, there's the possibility of them getting some more sales through a celebrity than a startup like myself. But with time, I think that we worked really really hard, and show people that we have a great appreciation for agave and agave spirits, and that's kind of where our celebrity comes from, is the love and the appreciation for agave spirits.
Did you feel like the community, the additive free community, accepted you a little easier than the tequila community overall, or did you feel it was about the same trying to get into it?
Yeah, I think when it comes to the additive free community, there's some great brands out there and some amazing people. They've been very very welcoming, and those are the people that we've kind of had more interactions with. You have these bigger brands. I really don't know too many people from them. Maybe a rep here and there, but the celebrities aren't coming out to these festivals. The celebrities aren't going out to do events or anything like that. It's more along the lines of people like myself and the other people that are in the additive free community. They're smaller guys, right? So those are the people that we're really vibing with and having a good relationship with.
Arturo, did you know from the beginning that you wanted to be additive free and kind of part of that artisanal process versus what the mega conglomerates are doing?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm an agave head, so like I study this, in and out. And just having a background with my family and tequila, and my father being a connoisseur of tequila, and drinking some really, really good additive free tequila, in the 90s, I grew an appreciation for what good tequila was. So I knew from the beginning, I wanted to be additive free. So I studied everything. I studied the most important part, which is the agave, and using mature agaves, and then going down to the process of, like, hey, how are we going to shave this? How are we going to cut it? Are we going to take the corolla on? Are we going to leave it in? How long are we going to cook it? Fermentation, roller mills, the whole distilling process, all of it. So additive free is the most important for us, because that's what I really enjoyed.
So we have this argument here a lot in this room, and now we finally have somebody here that can clear it all up for us. Let's talk about growth in your industry and kind of growth with what you do. In order for you to maintain your process, in order for you to maintain your additive free process, how much growth do you think the industry or yourself or the industry as a whole could maintain and still be as pure as it is now? Because one of the things that we talk about is some of the bigger, obviously, conglomerates that put more leaders out, they have more opportunity for growth if they're not as into the process and such as you are. But my question is, from somebody who has started and owned a brand, an additive free brand like yours, what do you think are the growth possibilities for you?
I think there's a lot of room to run. Just because we're making it the old-fashioned way without additives, we still have a lot of capacity. So yeah, it does take longer. Yes, we don't use additives, but we feel like the sky's the limit. And we have a very great partner with 1414 and Vivanco, and these have been questions that we kind of propose to them, and they feel really good about it. So as long as they feel good about it, we feel good about it. And they're working with a lot of high volume brands now. Siempre is a great brand that comes out of 1414. They're doing a ton of cases. Alma the Jaguar is doing really well. Yayo's doing really well. And there's still room to run at the distillery. They're adding additional tanks. So we feel pretty good. We feel like the growth, can continue. Will we become a brand that's doing 1 million cases a year? Probably not. But I feel good that we can probably get into the tens of thousands of cases a year, the traditional way without additives.
And I know you said that you had shopped around at several distilleries, and Matt and we've been to Vivanco and 1414, and we were amazed and just blown away with the process there. Obviously, an amazing family and an amazing distillery. What sealed the deal for them? What made that your go-to distillery?
Yeah, so we visited a lot, and I had a top 5 list that I wanted to go to, and I went to just about all of them, and they're all great. And I have the utmost respect for every distillery that I visited. I did this with my father, and when I went to 1414 with my father, we really didn't talk a lot about tequila. My father had sat down with Sergio Vivanco. They talked about life for hours. I mean, I think that we were there probably maybe 4 or 5 hours or so, and we really didn't even talk about tequila. It was just kind of about their upbringing and how my dad used to make mezcal and what part of Zacatecas he was from, and my dad's journey to the United States. And Sergio Vivanco lived in the U.S. for a period of time too. He used to own a Mexican restaurant in California. So we were talking, we're talking, we're drinking tequila, and I thought it was going to be a completely different conversation with them and meeting, and it wasn't. It was it was a complete different conversation than the other ones that we had. And I think that that's really what sealed it, because when we left there, my father was very happy, and I knew that, if that made him happy, then that made me happy. That's why we went with 1414.
So it was just an organic conversation about life and humanity.
It really was, yeah. I mean, of course, the juice is quality.
But that's what I tell people. That's what I'm telling everyone. And when they're, hey, I'm new, I'm getting into tequila. And for people who are listening to our podcast, who are still in that infancy stage of learning about this spirit, this is what tequila is all about. It's about life. It's about family. It's about telling the journey that your father went through. And I think it goes across all spectrums of people. I think it's so interesting. I see like the Mexican influence into the United States, and what I'm sitting here listening to the story of like the Vivanco family and your dad. It's like you come to America, you make this place what you put into it. This golden opportunity, this dream, and then it's like, and then look what the potential is. And it is. I just look at like the whole North American continent. Like Mexico is just it's just America with like such amazing culture and ancientness to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit it right in the head. That's what tequila is. Tequila is community. It's friendship. Alcohol, tequila, when enjoyed responsibly, it is all about community, and that's what we really, really like about this business.
Have you noticed, you talk about some of those organic conversations about life and all those other things. Did you notice that you were not having those with some of the larger conglomerates? I'm sorry, some of the larger distilleries?
Yeah, I noticed it. We went in and things felt kind of rushed, and it didn't feel natural. And, I felt like just a number. And, I respect what they're doing, and I understand what they're doing. And it just wasn't a good fit. I think things happen for a reason, and, we're really happy where we're at.
Well, we definitely appreciate the juice that you're putting out for sure.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I never had it until just a couple minutes ago when Matt poured me. It's excellent. It's very good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
We want to make we call it a rustic tequila that you would have had 100 years ago. So just agave, water, yeast, and just a really clean, mineral forward profile, and we feel like we get that. When we first started coming up with our profile, we worked very closely with Sergio Vivanco, and now we're working more with Sergio Cruz. So the Vivanco family, they're amazing distillers. Sergio Cruz is an amazing distiller, and it's exciting. It's fun. They're very receptive. They have a really, really high attention to quality, and it's great working with them.
Now, do you see a lot of people trying to do or going in to do what you did, which is go down, start something pure like that, and bring it back to the United States? Because I know the tequila industry as a whole is growing. I want to know, do you see it growing more on the larger, unadditive-free side, or do you see this side growing at a faster clip?
I think the additive-free space is the fastest growing space in tequila. I think that the cheap mixtos like Jose Cuervo are having a tougher time right now. I'm sure they'll figure things out, but the additive-free space, brands like ourselves, brands like G4, Fortaleza, they're just growing really, really, really fast right now, which is great to see. Right now, our battle or our fight is education, because most of the
Absolutely.
when they think of tequila, they think of Jose Cuervo. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Jose Cuervo. It's just a different type of tequila. We really want people to try an additive-free tequila to, know what it tastes like, because I think that when they taste it, it really changes your mind.
And with that and everything that's been going on with the whole additive-free movement, do you feel that brands such as yourself and other additive-free brands have something to fear as far as reprisal, from the CRT?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't think so. I think that we're in a space that's growing, and like I said, knowledge and education is very important. Obviously, there's been some changes that we've had to make with the CRT, with not being able to add free to our bottle. So that kind of hurts, but I think this thing is still moving. Tequila Matchmaker is huge. It's a juggernaut. Scarlett and Grover have done an amazing job. And I think that's going to continue. And I think that their app is still growing.
That's good. That's interesting. Do you believe the additive-free arena will ever grow to the point where we see good additive-free options at our standard corner bar all the time? Or do you think because of the volume, it'll never get to that point?
I think it will. I think we're seeing it already. We're seeing brands like G4 coming out of 1579 El Bandido. Felipe and his team in the United States, the PKGD group, package group, whatever it is, Sean Miller and Jeff Ernst are doing an amazing job of spreading tequila, and it's readily available here in the United States. I travel a lot, and I'm seeing it all over the place. And from what I'm hearing is whatever they bring in, it's sold, and people are buying it. So I think you're going to see that more and more. I think G4 is kind of one of those brands that's that on the forefront from what I'm seeing. I don't know what the numbers are, but I'm seeing them all over the place. And there's other distilleries out there that have that type of capacity too. You have La Alteña that has a lot of capacity. They make Tapatio and some other great brands. They just have a new distillery that opened recently, Los Alambiques, which is gigantic. So I think you're going to see it more and more and more. I feel that G4 is kind of in the forefront of it right now.
Which is interesting because now, and Ash, we just talked about it over dinner, G4 is available at our local Costco's, which is the greatest thing in the world. The greatest thing.
Yeah, I had a couple friends over to the house for just a very small tasting. An old buddy of mine from the cop job, and another buddy and his wife, and we highlighted G4. We highlighted Lalo. I gave him some Siete Leguas, Siete Decadas, and it was funny. And then they just loved the G4, and I said, "Look, you can go down to the Costco." And it's $34 basically. And there's a liquor store here in Las Vegas that we love. Maybe one day Lost Lore will be there. It's called Liquor Lineup. And I was in there talking to the guy there he's our buddy. His name's Raphael. Shout out to Liquor Lineup at Ann and Decatur here in Vegas. He said, that's my cost. That's like Costco. I can't beat that with Costco. So Costco is clearly working with the package group out of New York, and they're putting quality tequila, and it's not going. I think it's like the room to grow is there, and then so as soon as G4 was in, I'm okay. Great, now I'm buying a bottle from there. Every time I come back 2-3 weeks later, they got Siete Leguas, they got a Repo, they got an Añejo.
Yeah.
And I always make it a point when I go into a liquor store, especially if I go into the big stores, and I would obviously consider Costco a big store. It's a big store, but their profit margins are different. It's a different place. But if I'm in like a Total Wine or a place like that, and I'll hang out in that liquor aisle, and even in Costco, this lady walks up and she goes to pick up the Añejo Kirkland brand, and I was like, "Hey, might I offer some advice?" And I said, "Look, you can buy that. It's I'm not saying anything bad about it, but it comes from a mega distillery. It's not cooked in the traditional process. It's basically that agave Everclear that they watered down and add coloring to." Then I pointed her over to the Siete Leguas, and she's like, "Oh, you know what? I'll give this a try. I don't care that it's $15 more than the Kirkland brand." So those little things right there is like, well, I think that it's like that micro brand ambassador. Like, hey, try the Lost Lore. Don't try this. This is very, very like you said, 100 years ago is what we're tasting today. That's what I think people will appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. And education, again, is just so important, man. So thank you for doing that, because, we're all like little foot soldiers, and we're trying to kind of all push in the same direction to grow this category. I do it all the time. I just came from the liquor store like an hour ago, and, I bought some bottles, and I saw a guy there, and, he was buying some Casamigos. And again, I'm not throwing shade at Casamigos or any of those guys. I just kind of like, "Hey, have you tried this?" And then we start talking about it and going into process and what the differences are. And he took them on,
Yeah.
and I think if they are educated, if the general consumer is educated and they try it, they will like it.
Yeah, I agree.
So in the next year or so, what are your goals as far as expanding throughout the U.S.?
Yeah, we have a pretty aggressive expansion plan, and it isn't something that I wanted to do where I'm calling all these distilleries or not the brokers or distributors across the country. It's been very natural for us. We're having distributors reach out to us, and that makes us feel good. It makes us feel good because it makes us feel like we're doing our job and we came out with a good product. And of course, we're doing as much marketing as we can behind it. We're a small family company, so it's very important for us to utilize the tools that we have with social media, things along those lines to kind of market us, because we don't have a marketing budget to do billboards and to do this and that and commercials. We just don't. We're a small family company. So, we feel good. There's distributors reaching out. It looks like coming up here in the next couple months, we're going to be roughly in 10 states. And then after that, we're probably going to add roughly another 10. So we're currently in Illinois, California. We just launched Arizona recently, where, we sold out there, which made us really, really happy. And we're going to be launching Colorado, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas. We're talking to Arkansas right now, a really, really great distributor who reached out to us. And then we have a larger distributor in the East Coast who's in New York, New Jersey, Delaware, and some other eastern states that we're going to be in. That's probably going to be a July launch. So it's looking like between now and the end of the year, we'll be roughly in 20 states. It makes us happy because like we get messages all the time from social media, and we're super appreciative that people are reaching out and they're asking for a product. So we're going to be a little bit more accessible here really soon.
So, two-part question. One, what makes you or what helps you determine which place or state to launch next? Two, here in Vegas, at where do we know that they're selling it here besides Liquor Lineup, your favorite store?
I don't think
we're on my side of town.
I don't think they're selling it in Nevada.
They're not expanding.
We would love to be in.
So I was Vegas on that list.
Yeah, I'd love to be in Nevada. I was just out there last weekend. Took my niece to Vegas. She turned 21, and I was going up the Strip and went to Fremont. And I'm like, oh, there's not too many tequila options over here, so we're hoping to change that. Of course, we have to look at the market a little bit more, but we would love to be over there for sure.
If you get in discussions more with us, there is a good tequila market here. It's just not at that Strip Fremont area. For the people that live here, we do have our places and have our good stuff. There's a very strong market for it here, but it's not the Strip. It's other places.
Yeah, you can definitely send me those places because I had trouble. We again, I don't know Las Vegas too well, but I was looking and searching. I couldn't really find anything. In the, I guess, more touristy areas. So I'd love to see, a good tequila.
Is Nevada just a distributor issue? Is that the problem?
Yeah, we haven't, we've had some, very minimal discussions with a distributor over there. So, we're going to need one, of course, to be over there. And, we want to be excited about that distributor and we want the distributor to be excited about us. So, we're hoping that happens here really soon.
So what you're saying, Arturo, what you're saying is if we can find you a good distributor,
I think I'm.
Believe me, we know them. If we can find you a good distributor here in the city, I'll be able to go to the cask at some point and get myself some Lost Lore because it made a very good drink tonight. So if we find you one, you'll bring it. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
That's on.
Challenge accepted.
Yes. Challenge accepted. We know more than one or two.
And speaking of challenges, that leads us into what would you say one of your biggest challenges has been with creating the brand and where you're at now?
It's a lot of work. It's a ton of work. I'm working all day, and I wouldn't say it's a challenge, but I mean it's for people who aren't in this industry and who want to get into it. There's some hard days, and you just have to push through it. So we're of course getting everything started in Mexico. It took us a while. This is a project that's going on to 4 years now. We just launched last year. Right, our trademark was a big thing. Finding all of our vendors in Mexico for bottles and for labels, and yeah, it's been a lot, and just kind of figuring out how everyone works. So I think that's been a little bit of a challenge, but there's a ton of work, man. There's a ton of work every day, and there's a new challenge every day, and for those who are passionate about it, it's fun. And that's how we feel about it right now. I may throw in a day, it's 16 hours, but I'm having fun at the same time. I love talking to our bottle manufacturer. I love talking to our label manufacturer and figure out like, hey, well, now we need this dye and we need that dye. That's fun stuff for me. And then on the flip side over here, we're starting to develop really good relationships with our distributors because we are a partnership. If they succeed, we succeed. So we really want to support them as much as possible, and we want to help market, whether it's doing a tasting or doing a pairing or whatever it may be. We're here to support them.
Well, if you ever need us to give any assistance in tastings or anything like that, let us know.
We'll take it. We need it because I'm only one person, and I'm sure you guys all know Rudy, and Rudy's on board with us now, and he does an amazing job, and he's trying to help out. But it takes an army. We can't do it all by ourselves, and we're trying to put together a team so that we can go far.
So, Arturo, other than obviously your brand, Lost Lore, what other tequilas do you enjoy? What's some of your top 3 to 5? If you're not drinking your own stuff, what are you trying?
I'm a big fan of Siete Leguas. I really like them. Been drinking that tequila for.
We have this debate here because Jay doesn't love Siete Leguas, and I'm just like, if I was on an island for the rest of my life and I only got one tequila, it might be that one.
No way.
Yes, way.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like them. I think they're kind of like one of the old school brands, and I love old school brands, and especially the ones who have kept it that way. But yeah, the Siete Leguas, of course, Fortaleza is a great one. I'm very terroir driven, so I kind of have my valley tequilas that I like. Of course, Fortaleza, Cascaween. I think anything coming out of those distilleries, it's really, really good juice. Not only the Cascaween brand, but other brands that they have, like Legado is really good. The Highland stuff is amazing too, man. Like 1579 is pumping out amazing profile. So
I agree.
Okay, what's coming out of there, Arturo?
That's
G4.
That's
Got
G4.
it. Got it.
before Don Vicente, General just moved over there. I had their
Peralta.
that's really good. 1414 is amazing. Like love Yayo, Siempre with the stuff that they started making over there once they made the switch. Stuff that's coming out in La Alteña. I think that Tapatio is an amazing tequila that's left on a little bit, but their regular Blanco and their 110 proof it's really, really, really good juice.
So speaking of high proofs, you just really released your high proof. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Really?
Yeah.
I'm
So
listening.
we have that high proof coming. We ran into some label issues, so we're off a little bit. We had to make some changes with the whole CRT thing, so it threw us off a little bit. But we hope to have that juice here in the States probably within the next couple of weeks. So it looks like it's going to be a June launch at this point. It's already pre-sold. It's only going to California, Illinois. So we didn't have too much of it. We're very limited amount. Pre-sold way makes us feel really, really good. We'll definitely up the quantity next time. But if you like our Blanco, you're going to like our high proof. So we're right at 49% ABV. It's got a ton of agave flavor. It's got a beautiful sweetness to it. It's not too hot, very well balanced, very mineral forward, very vegetal. So everything that I like in tequila definitely can find this high proof.
And see, for me, like that's one of the things that I love. I love high proofs, and I'm looking forward to the Lost Lore high proof. Into the label, who designed your guys' label for the bottle?
Yeah, so we did a one-off label that's with agave vango, so Dolfo. So that's the one that's kind of being thrown out there in social media land. It's a black label with white lettering. So that was just kind of like a special one-off label that we did for Good Juice. We only made, I think it was 9 of those bottles. It was going to be 10, but the last bottle didn't make it for some reason.
It never does.
Didn't make it because it broke, or didn't make it because it was drank?
I'll explain the story in person.
You don't want to get trouble with the CRT. No, it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
We gave that to some really good friends at Good Juice, so we're excited to share that. But the label itself, we have a great artist that we work with, in the States, and then we have another artist that we work with in Mexico. So they kind of did the woodcut style for our artwork, and then we have a great team of designers that kind of put the illustration together and label. And packaging is really important for us. I know that the juice is most important, but we feel that when we get the juice right, and then we get the packaging right, it really, really helps with our product.
I like it.
How are you guys using social media to spread word about your brand?
Yeah, we're very active. I wish I could tell you I had a big social media team, but I don't. So it's pretty much me, and we have a social media team member in Mexico. So he does a lot of the photography for us. So he lives in Guadalajara, and he'll go to Guadalajara often to take pictures. And he's got a drone, and we have some really cool drone stuff coming up here in the near future. So it's me. I'm doing a little bit of everything. So some days I'm the accountant, and some days I'm the operations guy, and then some days I'm the social media guy, and some days I just want to be the tequila drinker and taste everything out, and make sure it's good.
Well, and with the limited social media footprint that you have, do you feel like the agave community has helped support you guys in a lot of ways by posting, reposting?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm very appreciative, and our team is very appreciative of all the support and love that we've received from the agave community. There's been influencers who reached out and, very supportive and asking for bottles so that they could do reviews. That's been our big thing. I remember last year we went to LA Tequila Fest, and I didn't know anybody, and there was a pre-party the night before LA Tequila Fest. And, man, I was nervous as shit because I didn't know anyone, and they wanted me to talk about my brand. And it was just a very, very nerve-wracking night. But everyone was very welcoming, and I met a ton of agave influences there, tequila influencers, and we've only received love from them. So again, I'm very appreciative of everyone who's reached out to us and who's supported us.
And on that, you talked about the tequila festival that you just spoke of. We got one here Saturday night.
Oh,
You
cool.
got
Which one?
Lee's out
Oh,
at
the
the
Lee's one.
hockey arena, Henderson. It's at 4:00. My son's graduation is at 3.
Maybe.
I may roll out there. Keeps coming up on my social media. I may roll out there at 4 after, right after graduation, and Uber home after that. Last time I went to one of those tequila festivals, it got ugly.
Yeah.
Because there's so much good conversation, good talk, good tequila. The stuff that we like the most, sitting around talking about life. You get, an entire building full of that, and it gets good quick.
Did they make cocktails though?
Yes, they did. Smart ass. They made cocktails, and I liked it. Arturo, these two get on me because I can't drink liquor straight. I have to cut it with something. I have to make it cocktails.
Uh-huh.
So they always get on me until our good friends at G4 came in and said, no, he's got it right. He's doing it the right ways.
Mhm.
As far as your preference, and I know you've said a lot of things that are very similar in my belief. As far as, I'm not bashing, I'm not saying anything bad about the other brands, the ones that are driven by celebrities, all those things. As far as being a purist in drinking, are you one that says, it's best straight from the bottle, or what's your stance on that?
I think however you like it. I know that we all have a different journey, and we all taste different, and as long as you're drinking tequila, I'm okay with it.
See,
The way that I drink it, I drink it neat. I like blancos a lot. My collection is almost all blancos.
and so is mine.
The majority of mine is Blanco as well.
Yeah, I love blanco, man. It's just like the purest form of tequila. It's just like,
Yeah.
there's just a focus on the agave. But it doesn't mean I won't drink a reposado or a reposado old fashioned or añejo. Or, I like it all, but I think that the best tequila is the way that you like to drink it.
See, the pros are on my side.
I find myself liking Blancos in the summer. Like as the heat comes, I find myself loving the Blanco.
Okay,
And then when it
that's
gets
fair.
cool outside, I like a little bit I like a reposado. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was born and raised in the Chicagoland area, but we recently to Phoenix. So a little different, a lot warmer. I think that we're hitting consistent 100-degree days now. And my wife, who also likes to drink blancos neat, like she likes ranch waters, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
So it's
Is that an Arizona thing?
you're right.
Oh, it's a Texas ranch
Easy
water.
one.
I know, but I only have them in Arizona for some reason. I don't know what it is.
So
Yeah,
you said earlier, Arturo, you're a baseball fan.
Yeah, I'm a big baseball fan. The Cubs have been my team. I grew up South Side, Chicago, and I like the Cubs, is the North Side team over here. So I used to go to a lot of Cubs games back in the day. They were not good at that time. It was before the whole Joe Madden came in and all the good players came up. They were terrible. But they were the lovable losers, and then they won a championship, which I'm happy to see in my lifetime. But yeah, I like it. I like that. I love football. I'm a huge Bears fan, so I'm excited that we got the first round draft pick, and we're going to see what Caleb Williams does this year.
yeah. Hopefully, you guys don't do the Caleb what you did your last quarterback that we thought was good.
Probably the last 20 quarterbacks.
I haven't seen a good one come out of even your best. Even the guy from BYU was average. He just was surrounded by Walter Payton and Refrigerator Perry. That helps anybody look good,
It can't be any worse than Cleveland, though. Cleveland has been through more quarterbacks than any team I know.
Absolutely true.
I would say Cleveland, and then it's got to be after that. It's got to be the Bears.
Yeah, it's those two. It's neck and neck for ruining quarterbacks. So it's neck and neck.
Well, Arturo,
I always hate, when the Bears play the Packers on Monday night or Sunday Night Football, whatever it is. And they always do the same thing every single year where they say the Green Bay Packers organization has had Brett Favre and, Aaron Rodgers and Jordan. They've had like 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the same amount of time. The Bears have had like 30.
Yeah, same thing with the Browns.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
I was going to say, Arturo, if you get out to Vegas this summer, let us know. And we've got the minor league baseball stadium up in Summerlin. We'll go catch a game. It'll be a fun time.
Yeah, I'd love to. I just heard that it's a done deal that the Athletics are moving to Vegas.
Oh yeah, they're finalizing the stadium stuff now.
Yeah, I didn't know that. For sure that was going to happen, and maybe I've just been outside of the baseball realm for a little bit, but I was happy to hear that because Vegas is a cool town, man. I really like it. I think it's cool that the Oakland Raiders moved over there, and how the Knights have been amazing.
No, absolutely. Next time you're in town, we'll keep you off the strip. We'll get you downtown to some of our favorite
Local
tequila spots, to see the city, to see what somebody like you can do. The city is full of hustlers, people that come here and grind. It's full of just blue collar grinders that will come here and work just like you, and then we'll get you to see that. We'll get you to experience it, and then you'll understand why your tequila would do well here. We'll get that taken care of.
That's amazing, man. I look forward to it.
Absolutely. All right, Matt.
Well, Arturo, we do appreciate you being on the podcast, and from all of us, if you're ever in Vegas, hit us up, and let's sip some tequila.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Yeah, we have some really cool stuff coming up. So, we're excited about this. We have a rested series. So it's our reposado that's finished in different barrels. So we have 2 of them coming out right now. One of them is aged in a barley wine barrel from Revolution Brewing, and the other one is aged in a stout barrel from Bottle Logic Brewing. They're in Anaheim, California.
Nice.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I come from the beer business, so we come out with a new beer every 2 weeks in the beer world. So we don't want to do that to tequila to that extent, but we do want to come out with different varieties with all the expressions that are out there pretty often. So I'd love to bring some, R&D stuff to you guys, so that you guys can try.
Absolutely. Sounds
Great.
absolutely.
Where can people find you on social media?
So Instagram is our big one. So Lost Lore Tequila, and then same thing with Facebook at Lost Lore Tequila. We do have a TikTok account, because that's where all the cool kids go, I guess. I can't focus on all of it. I find Instagram being the easiest for me. But our Arturo, our social media guy in Mexico, he puts some videos up from time to time. So we'll probably get a little bit more active with it here soon. As we get into more process. But those are the big ones: Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
All right.
All right, brother.
Well, we appreciate your time and hope you have a good rest of your evening.
All right. Have a good one.
Salud.
Thanks, Arturo.
So much. Talk to you soon.